Rachel Micah-Jones from Contratados.org.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of people are recruited from Latin America and across the globe to work in the U.S., to mow lawns, pick our fruits and vegetables. Women like Ana are recruited to harvest crab meat. Men like Pablo are recruited to operate carnival rides. Workers are charged fees for non-existent jobs. Half arrive indebted. Many go unpaid. Despite these and other abuses, Ana and Pablo cannot leave their jobs and change employers because they cannot identify employers who can hire them. But my organization and migrant workers are leveraging technology to change this. I'm Rachel Micah-Jones, the founder and executive director of Centro de los Derechos del Migrante, or CDM, and I'm thrilled to present to you Contratados, a Yelp++ for migrants. Think Yelp plus Glassdoor plus Indeed, with information and resources to change the balance of power for migrants. Contratados pools collective worker knowledge and puts it alongside publicly available data culled from various sources. This transparency gives workers unprecedented power to make informed, life-changing decisions. For more than a dozen years, CDM has worked alongside migrant workers. We engaged our powerful Migrant Defense Committee, comprised of more than 80 community-based leaders, to develop and test Contratados in real-world situations. Migrant workers have co-designed a platform using technology accessible to them. As guest worker programs rapidly expand in the US and around the globe, we're taking Contratados to the next level. We're building a pathway to portability, a job portal that facilitates workers' labor mobility. So now, if Ana or Pablo experience abuse on the job, they can connect with an employer who's been approved by the government to hire them. They'll have access to job opportunities, be able to compare offers, and leave abusive workplaces. After the initial investment, the pathway will be self-sustaining. We will charge employers a fee for each posting, a fraction of the cost of recruiting a worker. For now, we are going to be able to reach guest workers throughout their journey, empowering them with critical tools. We're piloting the program with 280,000 migrants in the US, but it could be scaled to reach millions. The stakes are high. No one should have to stay in an abusive job, and no one should have to pay for a non-existent one.
Thank you, Martin. And then Philip, sorry.
Thank you, Rachel. Can you elaborate a little bit on what's in it for the employer, so to speak?
Yes, for sure. Thought I had to grab the mic for a second. For sure, employers would save a lot of money on recruitment costs. If a worker is currently in the United States, their visa, passport, eye scan, exams, a whole host of costs that they would incur to be able to recruit that worker. There's also been a number of points, what's called a returning worker exemption for H-2B workers, which means that workers who had worked in the United States in previous years don't count against a cap for that program. And it's very difficult for employers to find workers who would be eligible for that. And so this would be an important way for them to do so.
Philip and Jay.
Topical and urgent. Can you tell us something about the results you've achieved already? And how can Solve help you take this to the next level?
Thank you. Yes, in terms of the results already, we've prevented fraud in communities throughout Mexico, saving communities millions of dollars in fraudulent recruitment fees. As an organization, we've also been able to bring cases in support of migrant workers who have come forward to recover millions of dollars in unpaid wages and other compensation. Solve can help us and can help workers like Ana and Pablo to create more prosperous livelihoods for themselves and for other migrant workers.
Jay Collins, quick question, two questions.
Oh,
do you keep
hi.
PII on your platform, and what's your relationship with law enforcement?
Okay, thank you for those questions. So in terms of our relationship with law enforcement, we've certainly been in touch with law enforcement at different points, but we have no formal relationship with law enforcement, and we don't share information with law enforcement unless someone explicitly asks us to do so. But I will say that officials from the Department of Labor and from the Department of Justice and from other agencies regularly monitor the platform and identify cases and we know this because they've contacted us about specific cases potentially involving human trafficking. So,
Michelle, last one.
okay.
Rachel, so your platform obviously works on transparency, but how do you think about mobility for your people in terms of advancement that this platform engages in?
Well, I think a main thing for advancement is we're trying to raise standards in low-wage industries and try and increase and raise incomes for workers in these industries and be able to leave abusive workplaces. The most powerful way to do that is to give workers the option to walk with their feet when they're in abusive situations, which currently they don't have.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you.